Hey guys, how is everybody doing? And today you're going to be hearing my thoughts on Final Destination 3. Wasting no time and getting straight to the positives with Final Destination 3 is the one thing I really liked about this movie that I really like about a lot of horror movies and a lot of slasher movies is I really like how this movie followed high schoolers. Now, the first movie they do kind of follow high schoolers, but they never really made that felt like it was high schoolers necessarily because when I was watching the first movie, like, yeah, they were supposed to be high schoolers or maybe like freshmen in college or whatever, but I never felt that. I never felt like I was watching high schoolers. Like, there was moments to where it did, but I just never felt that. But in this movie, they follow high schoolers, and it's definitely felt because of the cats that they get here, they do kind of make you believe that you're watching a group of teenagers. And I think that's why I didn't really care about the characters too much in the second one, because something about horror movies and when you're not following teenagers, the likeness of those characters kind of disappear necessarily. So I really enjoy that they followed high schoolers in this because you kind of relate to them more and you kind of relate to their struggles and what it's like to lose your peers and necessarily because I'm a high schooler, but I've never lost a peer of mine. But like for what this movie is aiming for and what they're trying to aim for with the grieving part when those characters die on the roller coaster, this movie kind of helps you relate to them more since they're in high school. And I again, that's why I think I like most horror movies when it comes to having characters that are in high school. So yeah, I really liked how they followed that and made the characters more likable in my mind, made them more relatable and kind of understood what they were going through. So yeah, I really liked how we followed high schoolers in here, which again, you can say that they were high schoolers in the first movie, but I never felt like they were. It kind of felt like they were kind of young, just young adults or maybe freshmen in college. But again, that still never felt like that. And this is just a small little positive, but it is definitely felt when you're watching the movie, is that I really like how the original director, James Wong, came back to direct this movie. If you don't know who that is, like I just said, he is the director of the original movie and who helped kind of reshape the original script of Final Destination, which, again, was originally pitched as an X-Files episode, but then he and I believe Glenn Morgan, I believe his name was, were brought in to basically rewrite that script and make it into a feature film. And both James Wong, the director, and Glenn Morgan come back to make this movie, and you can definitely feel that original Final Destination like feeling. Like when you're watching the second one, like you just felt like you were watching a sequel, and you just felt like you were just watching a bigger version of the first movie. But in this one, you can definitely feel that original vibe that you got from that first movie. You can definitely feel that you can definitely just feel like you're watching the original again because it was made by the same people. So I really enjoyed that, and I thought that was just a nice little thing to have them come back in return. So I really enjoyed that about this movie. I really enjoyed that they were able to come back and do that again. I don't know why they never made the second movie, but it was just cool to see them come back and make the third one. And I hate to sound like a broken record, and I hate to keep repeating myself when I talk about these movies, but I really enjoy the premonition that we get in this movie with the roller coaster, and to where I thought that was just a cool way because that definitely feels like something you would do in Final Destination. To where like I don't know if it's a fair or something for their school or something like that. It was never really clear what they were trying to do there to me because like if like they were saying it was like only seniors or juniors or something like that can only show up to it, and so only show up to it, and so there was like that whole thing. But then what I really like about this movie, it kind of again helps you relate to it, is that it kind of brought in a character that's afraid of roller coasters because there's always that one point in our lives where we were kind of afraid of roller coasters and kind of afraid of that. Now I don't think it's any better than the one in the second one. In the second one, that is easily the best of the entire series, but I really enjoyed that because like roller coasters are meant to be fun, but at the same time, for some reason, we have this fear of them. We have a fear of like something is going to happen while we're on it, that while we're on it. So yeah, I don't know. I just like that, and but I will admit, and this is something I will be talking about here later, is that the effects on the premonition, the effects during the kills on that don't look great. But again, I will get to that later. But I really like it because roller coasters are meant to be fun, and I think that kind of really helps set up what this movie's trying to be, which is just a more of a kind of just like a kill fest movie. That's all this really all this movie is, and it's just kind of aiming for more kills than it is for story or whatever. And that premonition definitely sets it up of what it's trying to be. But yeah, again, I liked it because like we always have that fear of roller coasters when they're meant to be fun. So yeah, I really enjoyed that about this movie, and I really enjoyed the premonition. I thought it was another good one. I actually see a lot of people actually kind of complain about this one just because the effects on it don't look good, but to me, I never really let the effects of it really get to me. I've always just watched it just as a premonition and just what this movie is going to be setting up. And I really enjoyed it. Again, not better than the second one, but it's still a good one. And it's something about this movie and what I really noticed when I rewatched it, and I think this is why I always really enjoyed Final Destination 3, is that this movie is not what you kind of want from this is a movie that you want from Final Destination, because if you are going to watch these movies for the story or the writing, this movie is definitely not going to be for you, because it's definitely not that. For what this movie is that it's just kills. That's all this movie is. It's just seeing people die gruesomely, seeing people die in all these different creative ways, and that's all it is. But for me, I really enjoyed it because that's what I usually kind of come for these movies for. Now, sure, I do like stories and characters in a movie. Like, some of my complaints about the other two movies was what the characters weren't really likable or notable, or they were just mediocre. But in this movie, the characters were likable, especially the lead actress, who I think is easily the best out of the three that we've had so far that I've watched on this most recent rewatch. Which, again, I think I only like Alex because he's played by Devon Sawa. But the main actress the main character we get in here is probably the best out of all of them. But like, what this movie aims for is just killing people. That's all this movie is. It doesn't aim for story, it doesn't aim for anything else. This is just a movie to where you can kind of just shut your brain off and just have a fun time just watching these people die in all these gruesome ways and all these different ways. Again, if you are a story person or come to these movies for the story, then this is definitely not going to be for you. But I really enjoyed this movie because that's all it aimed for, and that's what I kind of look for when when I watch these movies, is just see how are these people going to die in these creative uh ways. Basically, how are they going to die in creative ways? Because the first one kind of sets up of what this is going to be. Second one is basically kind of the same but just a sequel. But this one, it just forgets all of that and just like, oh, let's just see how we could kill all these people creatively. And I really enjoyed that about the movie. That is what I look for when I watch Final Destination, and that's what I got from it. And since we're on the topic of that, I think the kills in this movie are really good, and they are also just really violent. Now, again, kind of going back to the effects thing, which I'll talk about later, is that the effects on some of the kills don't look great. Some of them are heavily CGI, but I think that this is in contention with the second one, probably the most violent, because the kills in this movie are really good. Because there's like this one kill to where this guy gets like a boat propeller or this like car engine. I'm pretty sure it was a car engine or something like that, where he just gets like domed in the head when he's in a drive-through, and he just like splits his head in half and stuff like that. Like, that was awesome. And then my personal favorite of the movie is the guy in the gym, to where he's like ferociously working out, and then he like knocks over the swords and gets cocky, and then pushes it again and pancakes his head with the two weights.
Just win!
Like, the kills in this movie are good. There's one death that I will be talking about that personally pisses me off, but I thought the kills in this movie were really good and really gruesome. That's what I come for again. Again, that's what this movie aims for, and if you're gonna execute on it, then you better do it good, and this movie does really fucking good with it. So yeah, I thought the kills in this movie were great. I think it's in contention with the second one as probably the most violent. So yeah, I really enjoyed the kills in this. I really enjoyed the violence of it, and that's what this movie aims for, and I think they succeeded. Moving on to my mixed aspects of what this movie tries to do and what this movie kind of aims to do differently, which I don't know how I feel about it. And throughout this movie, of what they tried to do, and they introduced something new, is that you kind of see of how the person is going to die through pictures, because early on in the movie, the main character is taking pictures for the yearbook, I believe. So she takes pictures of all the basically the characters that we're going to follow through this movie, and then later on, after the accident, she looks through the photos and sees signs of how people are going to die. Like on the twins, like the two not the twins, like the two girls that are in the tanning bed, they have this weird red light on them, kind of signaling that they were going to die in a tanning bed. And then you have this one guy who's kind of the pervert for those two girls. There's like a fan in the background of his picture, and he ended up dying from like a boat propeller or something like that. And it reminded me a lot of The Omen, because in The Omen, there's the one photographer who took pictures of people, and then in his pictures, when he printed them out or like did whatever with him, he saw like a weird line or a weird like some sort of signal that there was gonna be something. Like when he took his own picture, there was a line across his neck, in which later on it found out that he got decapitated. Now, like, I appreciate that they're trying to do something different and do something creative and do something different to kind of show off how this person's going to die or what way they're going to die. But at the same time, I was just like, okay, I get it, but and I don't want to see the same thing that we saw in the other two where they're trying to figure it out for themselves or see like random premonitions just randomly like Alex did with the train in the first movie. Like they're doing something different, but it's just like again, I don't know how to feel about it. Like it's definitely interesting and it's definitely intriguing, but I just don't know if that's the proper way to do it. I like the idea, but I just don't think that's the way they should have done it. But moving on to my negatives, and my first negative, and it is a pretty big issue for me watching this movie, and that is the effects. And I've kind of already talked about them a little bit throughout this video, and to where the effects in this movie do not age well. Literally in the beginning, there's like the whole opening credits, and we're following like this marble-like thing in this like machine, and the effects and the CGI during that is not good. And there's like, and especially the roller coaster scene to where we're seeing the premonition, we're seeing these people die, and like just on the premonition, just the CGI on it just doesn't look very good. Like the way it's like moving, and you can kind of see that the actors and the characters look like they were CGI'd in into the roller coaster. The roller coaster was CGI in or something like that. Like the effects in this movie just don't look the greatest. Now, when it comes to the kills, they are mostly practical for what it seems like. But to do these certain things, something falling over, or like at the one point this one character dies from fireworks, and because the fireworks fall over, like there's certain moments where the effects just don't look good and they just don't age well. But once again, this movie was made during the early 2000s, so I guess I can't be too upset about it or be like super critical on it. But it's just years later, it just does not age well, and it's just really noticeable when you're watching the movie. My final negative, and if anything, this is a nitpick, but this death really freaking pissed me off, and that is the tanning bed death. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad death, like, it's really cool to look at, and it's really gruesome, and it makes you, like, kind of fear going near tanning beds. I'm never gonna go near one. But, like, when you see that, it's just like, oh, it's gruesome, and it's awesome, the practical effects are great. But what pisses me off about that is just how fucking dumb those two were. Like, you're meaning to tell me you're gonna go into a tanning bed room with fucking slushies? Like, are you actually that stupid? Like, do not bring a drink into a tanning bedroom like that. And when you know there's ice in it, you know it's going to melt, it's going to create water. And what does water do when it hits electricity? Not very good things. And so you clearly see that. And once again, when the board kind of like falls on top of the tanning bed or like gets stuck between the tanning bed, you could have easily pushed that over, and one of you could have got out and took it off and got the other one out. Which again, the death itself is cool, and the practical effects during it are awesome, but that death just pisses me off because that all of it just screams idiocracy to me. I literally sat there and I'm like, you two are being idiots. You could easily move that board. You could have just not bring those fucking drinks into the tanning bedroom, which why would you? And again, and just something small, which kind of prevented the guy from saving him. Why would you go outside from a door which you know will lock if it closes on you? Why would you use a bottle of lotion to prop the door open? Just leave the door open, or make sure the door doesn't close on you. Leave the fucking entrance open, for Christ's sake. Like, just everything during that sequence just screamed idiocracy to me, and it pissed me off when I was watching it. Again, nitpick, it is a great death. It's cool to look at. It's like, oh, it's gnarly, and it's a creative way to kill them and all that. But it just did not make me very happy watching, because it's just like, this just screams idiocracy.
Is as weak as your dollar. Failure is your destiny. You disrespect yourself and your nation. You are made of stupid.
All in all, guys, I really enjoyed Final Destination 3, and on this most recent rewatch, I honestly feel like this might be my personal favorite of the series, but yet it has been a while since I watched these movies, and I haven't seen the other ones, but we'll see when I get to my ranking. But as of right now, I do think this one is my favorite, maybe because of just, again, that this movie just aims more towards the kills and just more creativity with the deaths and all that, which, again, is what I kind of look for when I watch Final Destination. So yeah, if that's what you look for when you watch these movies, then this will definitely be for you. But if that's not what you look for, then I don't think you'll care for this movie too much. But I really enjoyed Final Destination 3, and if you enjoyed the other two, I do think that so far this series has been pretty consistent at this point. So if you like the other two, I definitely think you'll enjoy this one. But let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about Final Destination 3. Is this your favorite? Is this your least favorite? Do you prefer it over the second one? Do you not prefer it over the second one? Let me know in the comments below and we shall talk about it. And if you like this video, like it. If you love to subscribe to the bell notifications so you will get notified for all my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, see you all next time.